became like the most frequent question on Twitter toward the end of the game the other day. What's up with Mack's eye?
I was getting them last week.
Yeah, it's been official.
I was getting them all last week. Like, what's going on there?
Some young kid walked up and he says, "That looks really bad." I said, "It's okay."
It's okay. Thanks.
So yeah, thanks. That got me where at least I knew it was bad. And he reinforced it for me. So guys are excited to be back at home for homecoming. We hadn't been here for 3 weeks, and our crowds have been so good in the first 3 home games, and it's really rallied our guys, but it's also helped us with recruiting. It's made a huge difference, and we'll have probably near 100 recruits again this weekend for the game. We've got a couple of guys coming in officially, and then we've got a whole bunch of guys that are going to come in to even spend the night. So it's important. You go back and look at Duke and talking to the guys about the Victory Bell and the history of the Victory Bell and how seldom we've had it. I think they've won 3 in a row, and 5 out of the last 7. So that's I told them it's not a rival till we get better, and it's time for us to stand up. And when Duke has played well and not turned the ball over, they're very well coached, and they've got a really good football team. There are a couple of problems with their losses have been turnovers, but they're good in the kicking game. They're very well coached, and they play hard. So, and since they have been the team to dominate this series lately, I'm sure they're excited about the game as well.
So is that going to be the most important thing, forcing turnovers, creating turnovers?
I think so. We've got to run the ball better. We didn't run the ball very well the second half, even though we threw it well at Virginia Tech. But you shouldn't run for 140-something yards the first half and 17 the second half, or 27, I think, what ended up. So we've got to be more balanced. We've got to do a better job up front. We're going to play Aduzu at left guard. He's taken Montelis's place right now, and it'll alternate in and out, but that's a change in the offensive line for this week. And we just got to step up and do a better job up front being physical.
Mack, after Spurrier left, Duke really struggled for a couple of decades until Cook got there. What has he done, and kind of what is his MO, if you will, in terms of how he runs the program?
Well, David's he's experienced, he's smart, he's tough, he's the perfect fit at Duke. He loves Duke. He doesn't want to leave Duke. He won't ever leave Duke. So he's given them continuity. He knows what he's doing. To me, he's the one that sat down with their people and said, "Here's what we have to do to win at Duke, and I want to make this work." And they decided to keep him. He decided to stay, and they all pulled together, and they've helped their facilities. He knows who he's recruiting. He's recruiting a profile for each position, because you can tell their guys look really good. Their 2 defensive ends are as good as anybody, or really 3 in the country. Their defensive line's very well coached. They're very disciplined in what they do, and so I think he's just done a tremendous job there, and he's given Duke football stability probably for the first time in many, many years.
So I guess going back to '89, it's been 30 years since Duke won here and took the picture in front of the scoreboard and all that. What was your feeling about all that at the time? And I mean, did that kind of drive guys moving forward after that?
I think it was pretty public what I felt. I think I called it classless. I think is what I called it at that time. No, I've often, Steve's a good friend of mine now, and I often tell him, thank you so much for taking that picture and making it a Christmas card, because that helped us win 8 straight after that. And I appreciated you being our motivator. I can't use it for these guys. They weren't born when that happened, so they wouldn't feel the same way about it.
I mean, going back to that, is it pretty surreal that both of the 2 of you guys have ended up in the Hall of Fame from there?
I don't think either one of us were thinking about it at that time. He won the Heisman, so he probably was. I was 1 in 10, so I wasn't thinking about it, or 1 in 11, whatever we were playing back then.
What your favorite win? Your time playing, coaching against Duke?
I think the year that we had to beat them, and in fact, it was funny. We were going over to play Duke, and if we won, we were going to the Peach Bowl to play Mississippi State. If we lost, we were going to Hawaii. And I just met Sally, and she said, "We need to lose, man. I'd rather go to Hawaii. Wouldn't that be better?" And I said, no, we're not wanting to lose. And I think we won the game 31-28. It was really a close game, and that's the one that I remember the most.
When you're going through spring and fall camp, especially, and you're evaluating the players running through drills, how do you evaluate the coaches through that process, aside from just the scrimmages that you have?
You always look at your coaches to see what they're putting on film. I don't want to hear them talk. I want to see it. I told them that yesterday. I said, if your guys are doing what you say they're doing on film, then it's real. You're coaching them. If you're saying you're doing it and they're not doing it, that's not coaching. That's talking. So they have to be productive with the guys on video. The other thing I challenged the team today, I said, one of our problems is that you guys that are on the white team and the gray team aren't playing consistently well, so we can't play you. And our games are also close, so we have no depth. So we get worn out during a ball game because Taman Fox and Aaron Crawford play. Our linebackers are all playing. They're playing 80 plays. And you're going to be like this if you play 80 plays. You need some rest. So I challenged our coaches and our players, for some of you guys that are on that white team and that gray team, get better, man, and play and help us. Get enough trust with your coach. I told the coach, you got to get him better, and the players got to play better so you can trust him, put him in.
Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Zudu played a lot at tackle in the offseason.
Yes.
What led to him moving inside and being able to take that role with the one?
He's the next best guy. He would have been considered the sixth offensive lineman, and right now we don't have a legit backup center. I mean, we don't have anybody's played. So when you look at that, he can't play center, but we felt like he's the next best guy to go to guard. Kind of like when we had Marcus McKeithen early in the season. We said, who are the best five? And we thought he would be a better guard. He's a third tackle, but he'd be the first guard. So that's what we're trying to do, is put the best guys on the field. And Ed's just been inconsistent. It's been up and down. He played well early, and then it's just been all over the place. So we've got to put Easy in there and let him have a chance.
Are there any true freshmen or redshirt freshmen that are close to getting to a point where they can, get 20 to 20 plus snaps and become that guy after 6 weeks, 7 weeks of practice?
Ross, I think the ones that are playing have played enough now that because they're on special teams that they're going to be beyond and go play. The ones that haven't played very much still have 4 games in them. The problem is we haven't been in a game where we can put them in. We'd love to have a game where we'd have a little room in there to play somebody, and we just haven't been able to do that. It was made for if you don't want to be blown out, but if you're getting blown out, you can put them in. Or if you're beating somebody badly, you can put them in. That's kind of what the rule was for. Or if you have some injuries late in the year at certain positions, you could play them 4 games and not cost them a year. But right now, it's not working very well for us.
Given the depth issues and injuries, are you having to, I don't want to say go easier, but having to approach practice a little bit different in terms of stress and that type of stuff?
Yeah, we're doing the same stuff. We've cut our times a little bit because the guys would just get worn down. I could tell this morning they walked in and that, you're coming in at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, and for our meeting, and they were all there, but I could tell they were walking in a little slow, so we had to pick it up today. And I thought they had a really good practice today. They had a lot of energy today.
Had Zudu been getting kind of equal reps at tackle and guard up until the last week or so, now that you've put him in at guard?
Yes, and if we go back, we'd have to make a decision. Right now, Awesome Richards would probably be the right tackle, and Jordan would go to the left tackle if Charlie came back out. So we'd have to make a decision, and then Ed would be the guard some, and Easy could play tackle. So you just work with those guys to make all that formula work.
How difficult? And he was playing right tackle, now he's left guard. How difficult a transition is that for a young guy?
He was playing both. He was playing left tackle because Richards was playing right tackle.
Okay.
So he went to left tackle and has been over there, and he's played a lot of guard, so he's doing both.
Okay, that's right. He was left tackle when Charlie was out. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
How has Jonathan Kim adapted to becoming a starter at 2 different positions?
I think he's doing well. He made all the kicks today, and he kicked the ball deep in the end zone again yesterday and today. So far he's had a good week.
How hands-on are you with special teams?
I'm hands-on with everything.
Okay.
Just
are
watch it
you
very closely, and I'm in every special teams meeting. Talk about personnel at all times, and so yes, it's just like the fake punt. I said, let's don't fake a punt for 6 straight weeks and then have it in the game. It doesn't work. And you gonna fake them. You got to work. And so We got to do a better job of executing them out here in tough situations. So if a guy slants across a guy's face, we've worked on that more. So that's the kind of stuff we got to do in special teams. And when you get injuries with your older guys, you don't have much depth, then your special teams is watered down, and you're playing a lot of really young guys. So most of our special teams guys are freshmen, sophomores that aren't playing. It's not all of our starters because we don't have enough time and energy to put them on there because they're playing so much.
After you guys reclaimed the victory bell following that 89 game that Brant alluded to, how important was the victory bell to the program back then? And do you sense maybe it's more important now because Duke's been more competitive with Carolina recently?
I think you go back and look at the history. Duke is the rival game. It was the last game when I was here. And because of the basketball game being the biggest rival in maybe sports, the football game's important too, and it's really important. And over time here, we don't have many North Carolina guys starting. I told the guys that yesterday. This needs to be really important for you and this university. We didn't play very well at Wake Forest. We didn't play well at Appalachian. Those are two in-state games that you need to start understanding that regardless of where you're from, this game is important to this university. And so is Wake Forest, and so is NC State, and so is Appalachian State. So we need to step up because it's important to our fans, important to our place, and they need to understand that.
And if you look at your checklist of all the things that you want to do, obviously winning in state is a huge thing.
It is.
And everyone that you've played in state, Carolina's lost to the last time they played this.
Absolutely. I mentioned that.
Yeah. I was kind of getting you to maybe add on to that a little bit. Emphasize.
That's factual. I told them when we got here, the first thing we said is we're going to recruit in state first. Yeah. If it's a great player, we'll take him out of state. But if there's a player in state as good as the one out of state, we're going to go in state. And we want to win all the in-state games. And that dominates the state in recruiting. And so far, we're 0 for 2.
Did you get the sense that with Noah struggling the last couple of games, it had become mental for him? Or what do you think was that caused his struggles for that?
I don't know. You know, he's done well in practice, and that's why we stayed with him. And I put my arm around him yesterday and said, I'm really sorry. Sorry you missed the kick for you. Sorry you missed it for us and the fans. But it is what it is. So just make them all in practice and wait for another opportunity. That's what you do because you still compete every day. And I even told him if you need to go talk to somebody about it because it's a hard thing. It's a lot of pressure on a young guy to have it down to one kick and miss it. That's a difficult thing. So we've told him that we want to help him any way we can.
Is that an open competition every week?
Yes.
So Noah could come back and win?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is, but you have to have somebody at the beginning and the first, and since Jonathan did such a great job with the kickoffs, and he's been very competitive because we've come down to pregame every week to see if he would kick or Noah would kick. And since they were even in pregame, Noah had the experience. We just kept going with Noah. So it's time now to give Jonathan his chance.
Garrett Walston's another one of those guys who kind of stepped up. Just kind of what have you been impressed by so far with him?
We were impressed with Garrett when he got here. He needed to get stronger. But he's tall, he can run, and he's really got arm length. So he's got great ability to get open and catch the ball. And we think he has a chance to be even much better. He's just got to keep getting stronger and keep growing, but he's one of Sam's favorite targets now. So we're excited about what Garrett's done.
How unique is Duke's offense that they can go empty and the double slot in consecutive plays?
They can. The two offenses are very similar. A lot. David's got a 5-year quarterback that knows what he's doing. You give the kid credit. He stayed. A lot of them transfer now, and he didn't. And he's made it work. And he can run. He can throw. David does a tremendous job offensively. He can keep you off balance. So it'll be fun to watch he and Jay kind of go back and forth with each other with the battle on Saturday.
How would you define Dominic Ross's role now on the defense? He's playing the third linebacker spot.
He's playing Sam more now, and we like that because he's a really good pass rusher, and we've got to get more pressure on the passer. So that's one thing we're doing with him more is trying to get him in positions where he can play in space and come from out there.
Okay.
Duke is a fundamentally sound football team, so have you seen some of those mental mistakes cleaned up in practice this week?
Yeah, you know, this is a game where you're coaching against someone who's really well coached. They have very few penalties. They usually take care of the ball. So we've got to do the same thing.
Do you have a favorite Spurrier story from back in those days?
I think the game was 41-0, and Steve and I and Sally and Jerry, his wife, were eating dinner one night, and Jerry looked at me and said, "I bet you hope there's a day where you just get to line up and beat Steve 41-0." And I said, "No, I hope it's 55." So with Steve sitting there, but he understood that, and we never played again.
So, I mean, you've surprised everybody by coming back. Do you think he's going to make another appearance here in the ACC?
I don't know. You know, he was coaching in the Alliance and doing a good job there and having a lot of fun with it. So I think you can plan on seeing Steve somewhere else again, probably. Never know.
Y'all are both East Tennessee guys, right?
But I'm a Middle Tennessee guy.
Okay.
He's up in the mountains. I'm in Cookeville. He's from Johnson City.
That's right. All right. Stuff.
All right. Thank you, guys.